Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you out there. This is your captain speaking. I'm glad that you're here to join me, but if you and everybody else actually want to get notified of this stream, you've got to just wait in your seats a little bit longer. I'll be right back after I am done promoting this stream. See you soon. Welcome everybody, welcome to the stream. It's gonna look a little bit different today. As you can see behind me, there's nothing behind me. We're incorporating a green screen now, getting kind of fancy, and all kinds of fun things tonight. We're having breakfast for dinner. That's what we're doing. We're having breakfast for dinner, y'all, and it's gonna be delicious. So, yeah, absolutely, Alan. You knew it was coming. Absolutely. This is a fantastic deck that has put up some results recently that I want to talk about. And Jason, we're going to get to the naming convention of the deck in a little bit and figure out why breakfast has to do with Cephalid Illusionist and Nomads en-Kor. Spoiler alert, it doesn't at all. But that's just fine. Jason, hey, welcome back to being a Storm fan. That's fantastic. I think that you were already and you became a member again. That's awesome. I really appreciate that support. It means a lot to me, and I know that it means a lot to the other people on the channel. It's just Bryant, but you know, the two of us, we really appreciate it. So let's get into the deal. We're playing Cephalid Breakfast. This is a legacy combo deck that wins just like last week and oops all spells with Thassa's Oracle. So Thassa's Oracle, a lot of text on it, essentially just amounts to when it enters the battlefield, a trigger goes on the stack. If I have an empty library or a library less than or equal to the devotion to blue, then I win the game. Simple as that. So I'm going to empty out my library, put Thassa's Oracle onto the battlefield, trigger goes on the stack, and win the game. That's fantastic. So back-to-back Thassa's Oracle decks, 1 week to the next, and we actually are reanimating Thassa's Oracle just like last week with Dread Return, sacrificing Narcomoebas. Pretty classic, okay? It's very similar. However, we're playing lands this time. We're actually playing quite a few of them, and it's going to be a large difference between the two kinds of decks, even though the win condition is the same, mostly. We are going to empty our library by targeting Cephalid Illusionist a bunch. Cephalid Illusionist is a 2-mana 1/1 for 1 and a blue. When Cephalid Illusionist becomes the target of a spell or ability, mill 3 cards. So I can target it multiple times, and it will mill in batches of 3 every card in my library. Well, I'm not going to target it with a Swords to Plowshares. That would be a little silly. I don't have enough Swords to Plowshares to do that. I would need, what is that, 14, 15, 16. I would need 16 Swords to Plowshares. Not going to happen. What I can do is use the activated ability of Nomads en-Kor. This is a 1-mana 1/1 Core Nomad Soldier. It's a 0-cost ability. I just get to activate it. The next 1 damage that would be dealt to Nomads en-Kor this turn is dealt to target creature I control instead. So the key word there is target. So this actually targets another creature I control. And in the game, when it was designed, they were just like, oh, okay, you can protect this creature. If you have a bigger one, that's just fine. However, it pairs really nicely with Cephalid Illusionist because I can target it multiple times over and over and over again and mill out my entire deck and therefore win with the Dread Return Thassa's Oracle plan, which is really cool. The other option is playing Shuko, which is an artifact equipment, 1 mana with an equip cost of 0, and it attaches to target creature I control, equip only as a sorcery. So the equip cost is 0, so I have 2 cards that have an activated ability of 0, costs 0, that can target the Cephalid Illusionist. So that's kind of the goal of the deck. And Shuko is a 1-mana artifact. I can actually tutor it up with Urza's Saga. And Step Through is a really nice wizard cycling card that I can actually tutor up Cephalid Illusionist, which is a Cephalid wizard. Actually pretty cool. I also can tutor up Thassa's Oracle, which is a merfolk wizard. It all kind of just matches and melds together really nicely. So 3 Urza's Saga, sus. I don't know. We are an Urza Saga deck, but we aren't an artifact deck necessarily, right? We are using Urza Saga as the tutor for Shuko and as a secondary plan. Alex, yes, we are playing the Coval list that won SCG Baltimore. So SCG Baltimore was, there was a 10K and a 5K, and Brian Coval won the 10K on Saturday with this exact 75. He won, and two people kind of helped work on the deck, and he then took it to victory. One of those people, Alex McKinley, is a writer for theepicstorm.com and a good friend of mine. and I was talking to him about this deck yesterday. We were just running it through a league together, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to stream this tomorrow. Sounds like a lot of fun. And man, it is. I'm really enjoying it. So we are a Brainstorm Ponder deck. We've got Force of Wills, and we also have some extra protection in Orim's Chant, which is a fantastic card. Just blanket protection. Cabal Therapy. This functions as protection sometimes, but if we need to Cabal Therapy ourselves to put Dread Return or Thassa's Oracle into the graveyard where we can then reanimate it, then we can do that. We also have Brainstorm to put them back into our library, so we're actually doing pretty good in terms of drawing our combo cards isn't the end of the world. And then Teferi Time Raveler, just an absolute house, being able to turn off all kinds of castable interaction from our opponents and not have to worry about things like that. Really, really nice. Brazen Borrower as a one of is our main deck interaction for problematic permanents, and it's also can attack for 3. We are actually playing a little bit of a newer list. I won't say that it's brand new. This tech has been around. It's Staff of the Storyteller. And we're kind of going all over the place with this deck tech, but Staff of the Storyteller is a really good card when you're not comboing. It's gonna be able to draw you cards. It's going to be able to present artifacts for Urza Saga tokens. Urza Saga works really well with Staff because it charges the Staff up again. I should probably read the card, shouldn't I? 2 mana, 1 and a white for an artifact. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Okay, 2 mana, 1/1. Sure. Whenever you create 1 or more creature tokens, put a story counter on Staff of the Storyteller. So it already comes in, triggers itself to put a story counter on the staff. And then I can pay 1 white and tap it to remove a story counter and draw a card. So this is a nice draw engine that works by turning itself on, works really well with Urza Saga, and the tutor target here, Retrofitter Foundry. So we have a lot of grind potential if we can't combo out. Newton, I have not seen a lot of Orcish Bowmaster yet. They're incredibly expensive. They came out on Tuesday, I think, on MTGO. Maybe Wednesday, maybe yesterday. I don't remember. Okay, Jason, the breakfast thing. Way back when, before any of us were born, right? In the early days of Legacy, or just Magic in general, it was common to name your deck after breakfast food. For some reason, that was just the bit, right? And you got to stick with the bit. So we had Cheerios, which was a deck that played a bunch of 0 mana artifacts that had a 0 on it, and it looked like a Cheerio, right? O's. And that was just kind of like a combo deck. You have the Full English Breakfast, which was, I believe, a control deck. And then you have a bunch of other things that were named after breakfast foods, but one of the ones that has remained is Cephalid Breakfast. Apparently they weren't really thinking very creatively when they came up with what kind of breakfast food it was going to be. They're just like, you know what? Breakfast. It's just an all-you-can-eat smorgasbord of Cephalid. So I like calamari. I hope that you guys like calamari. We're going to have breakfast for dinner today. So a couple of things that I haven't mentioned. We're playing Mystic Sanctuary, which is a really nice grind potential. I can buy back Orim's Chant. It's fantastic in a control matchup where I can chant them. If they answer it, then fine and dandy. I can just Mystic Sanctuary it back and try again. The Retrofitter Foundry also with Staff is fantastic in the control matchups. We're a Force of Will deck for all of our combo matchups, which is really good. We have the ability to combo on turn 2, and we have Force of Wills to protect it, Orim's Chant to disrupt our opponents, all that good stuff. In the sideboard, we have Swords to Plowshares, removal spells, right? Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Serenities, those are fantastic removal spells for anything that ails us. Delver is going to be reason to bring all of these in. We'll get to some of the sideboarding later on. And then we have some stack interaction in Flusterstorm and Hydroblast and Force of Negation, and then some surgical extractions as Graveyard Hate and Pithing Needle. Because we're in Urza's Saga deck, we can Pithing Needle things like Fairy Macabre, which is something that none of our interaction actually deals with, or Wasteland, or whatever ails us, right? So our sideboard is probably the most flexible. It's the one that's changed the most over the iterations. The 60, excuse me, is changed a couple of cards here and there for the staff build anyway. Another build does not play Staff of the Storyteller. It actually plays Stoneforge Mystic that can tutor up Shuko, because it's an equipment, right? But it also has a Cauldra Complete or complete package as well. So that's a secondary win condition. It's another option. I think that I like the staff build at the moment. And then there's a third build that's not quite as good that's playing Baleful Strix instead of the staffs. Those are 3 options for your 2 mana card advantage kind of secondary plan, right? Baleful Strix is probably lowest on the tier totem pole, and then you have Stoneforge Mystic, and then above that is probably Staff, right? And then we can talk about the deck construction over the years. This used to be a Yorion deck that actually played a lot of fair mid-range cards. This used to be a Recruiter of the Guard deck. This used to be a bunch of different things. This is an old legacy deck that's just been updated ever since the inclusion of Thassa's Oracle. Used to be that you had this really weird, convoluted way to win, but the Dread Return Thassa's Oracle kind of cleans all of that up into a nice, neat package. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Let me know if there's any stuttering that is going on with the stream. I don't think that's going to be a problem today, but let me know. I didn't think that it was going to be a problem last week either, so, we'll figure it out together. I think that I'm 0-0 up here, and I am going to queue up. I'm already in a league. I'll play a league match. And while we're waiting, I'm going to tell you about Card Hoarder, which, if you don't know, is a sponsor of the stream, and you can actually rent cards from Card Hoarder. It's an awesome service. There's a link that will be in the pinned comments on the YouTube video for clicking on the Card Hoarder link or a TCG Player link, and either one will actually populate your cart with the cards that you can buy in paper or on Card Hoarder, or rent on Card Hoarder. The rental services are just phenomenal. You can pick whatever printing you want, and you're good to go. So let me run that really quick, and I'm gonna queue up for a leak.
With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist.
Alrighty, so that all worked out quite nicely. Very quick little ad while we're waiting for our league opponent. I'm glad that nothing's going wrong, Alan. That's a good sign. So far, so good, right? So I'm pretty excited about this one. This is a relatively complicated deck to sequence. The basics are all there. It's fairly straightforward when you're actually like comboing. All of the actions are fairly straightforward. Oh, just kind of got rid of my match there. Okay, there we go. But we'll have to see how it actually functions when we are trying to go through protection or interaction or any of the neat things that we need to play around. Okay, we won the die roll. And we cannot keep a no-lander. This is not Oops All Spells. And we can keep this one. So we don't necessarily need to combo super quickly, right? We've got Ponder, we've got Force blue card, I have Staff, I I'm going to put this Dread Return on the bottom. We don't actually want it in our hand, so this is a perfect way to use the London Mulligan. And what I'm going to do is play Flooded Strand and pass. One of the things about sequencing Staff of the Storyteller is that I want to have a white mana up as soon as possible to actually use... What are we doing here? What is my opponent doing? Mana Confluence, Aether Vial. That's going to resolve. Rakdos, Sacrifice Storm deck. You know what? I don't actually know anything about that modern deck. I know that it exists, and that's about it. I'm not sure. I don't know if I have any meaningful information for you. Okay, so we found another land, which is great. Teferi is my pitch card. Maybe I want another Ponder after this. So we're going to draw all of these cards, right? But what order do I want them in? And I actually think that it's going to be Ponder last, Teferi drawn for next turn, Tundra. I don't want to shuffle my library. I have Orim's Chant Protection. If they're doing something completely crazy. Force blue card. I don't have removal yet, but next turn the plan is to go Urza Saga, Staff. Draw a card with Staff. See where that gets us, what kind of opponent we're dealing with, all that good stuff. Oh, yeah, I'll have to see. Maybe I'll ask. Ooh, Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, so we are Saga Mirror. I wonder what we're playing against. This is kind of wild. So we're drawing the other Teferi, which is just fine. Okay, so this and Staff. Great, which automatically is going to allow us to draw the Ponder that's on top of our deck. But I'm going to wait. I have this Orim's Chant. I don't think that I'm going to need it, but I can draw at the end of their turn. There's no sense in drawing right now. Generally, just in combo decks in general, you want to be able to guarantee a win or optimize your chances for a win. And I don't actually know if this Rakdos Sacrifice deck is like a quick combo or something that's necessarily trying to go, oh, that's unfortunate. Wow. Okay, so that's cool. So this Changeling is also a Thopter. So our opponent is going to sacrifice it, creating a servo, or a construct, a 4/4 construct, and it enters the battlefield. The trigger goes on the stack to sacrifice a creature from the graveyard, and it's going to sacrifice itself. That's a really cool interaction. Okay, sucks for us, but that was pretty cool. This is not ninjas. Who do you say I should ask? That's a good question. I don't know. I'll figure out who should know about that question and the answer to it. I'll ask around. Okay, drew another Saga. Not bad. Let's play the Saga. We're not going to be able to play the Teferi and protect it. Oh, that Brazen Borrower is pretty good. Jason Spiller in the Discord. Okay, I'll make sure that you get your answer. I think... Okay, I'm going to keep this. This Cephalid Illusionist is going to be able to combo soon-ish. Part of me wonders if this is the Dwarf combo deck, which I want to play on the stream at some point, but it plays a bunch of Changelings and Magda Brazen Outlaw as a combo deck. Sometimes wins with Grist, the Hunger Tides minus ability. I don't know. It's a complicated deck that I don't necessarily know enough about to tell you. Okay, so I need to pay attention. I'm kind of playing slowly. We've got a pair of 4/4s. This is going to go up and make them 6/6s. It's going to be quite a lot. Breakfast variant. Wow. Okay. Oh, they're not going to make another construct. Isn't a modern deck. Yeah, I don't think that you... Well, maybe you can play things in modern. I don't know. I know that it's a playable legacy deck. It's not a competitive one, but you can certainly play it. It got a lot of craze when the deck actually was first created, and it kind of died out. But it plays a bunch of changelings, right? Okay, we've got a big construct. And more coming. Alrighty. I don't think... Okay, I'm not gonna block. And then before damage, I am going to bounce this Brazen Borrower, or Petty Theft the construct. There we go. Next turn, I can Teferi, bounce the... I think I need to put this somewhere. It's gonna live right there for now. Okay. So I can Teferi, bounce the other construct. Spirit can block the Mutavault to protect my Teferi. And next turn, I can combo off. The Urza Saga will get the Shuko, and I have the Illusionist in hand. I have Force, pitching the Teferi as protection. If the Teferi, this Teferi on the stack resolves, then I potentially just have a silence effect that I don't have to worry about my opponent interacting with. Swords to Plowshares, the Spirit. That's fine. So I can't actually protect my Teferi from the Mutavault attack, which is okay. I'm not too concerned about that. But that will kind of eat their mana, so I don't have to worry about them casting spells, if indeed they are attacking with Mutavault. I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. That'll also kill Teferi. For some reason I didn't think that that was 2 mana, I thought that was 3 mana. Probably should read that card a little bit more closely since it's in my deck. So they didn't activate Vials at the end of my turn, so they don't have cards that would... Well, they didn't want to use them anyway. 2 mana creatures. Okay, Cavern. This Force of Will is losing equity, we'll say. I don't think that I'm going to do anything with this Brazen Borrower at any point. Yeah, they can activate the Vials. Pithing Needle is looking pretty decent as a sideboard option against this deck. I do have Coval's sideboard guide, which is quite convenient. It's an updated form of Alex's sideboard guide, but it doesn't have whatever the heck this is, funnily enough. Okay, get the Shuko. Well, they could have ticked this vial up to 2. Right? I think. Maybe not. So I can Chant my opponent, and Cephalid Illusionist, and I have Force Protection. So I think we're going to do that. Chant my opponent, because the Shuko's already here. Cephalid Illusionist is the 2 mana right here. And then I have Force of Will. They certainly can interact. What we're going to do is save targets for this, always yield, and always yield to the Cephalid Illusionist ability. There's the Thassa's Oracle already. Now we just have to hit the other 2 Narcomoebas, which is 1 right there. Use it. And then we just need to keep clicking and get rid of our library, put it in the graveyard, and we're gonna get through game 1 against an unknown opponent. Not quite sure. Prismatic Ending, and there's the other Narcomoeba. Prismatic Ending and Swords to Plowshares, and Serenity, actually. They all seem great here. This is going to be the white sideboard portion of the plan. Okay, so we have 4 cards. 1 card. No cards once this resolves. Okay, yeah, they're happy. It is always correct to wait until your opponent completely mills out their library, because now my opponent knows exactly the cards that I'm playing, right? They've seen everything that they need to see. They know that I'm a staff build, not that they didn't know that already, but they know that I'm not playing Days, for example. So always good to kind of get that useful information there. So let's put 9 cards in. Cards that I want out. I'm going to kind of base this off of... Oops, you don't need to see that. Let's see, what am I going to base this off of? I have no idea. Is this... Can I treat this like a... I don't know. So we've seen Cavern of Souls, so that's less good here. The Orim's chance may not be great here, and then I can maybe trim a Shuko and 2 Step Throughs. I don't know. That's kind of the Red Painter sideboard list. That's the plan for Red Painter, which I know that this isn't Painter, but this could function quite similarly. I think that maybe Retrofit or Foundry isn't necessary, and I could actually keep in like a Shuko. Staff of the Storyteller or Force of Will. What is going to be better here? Might actually be Force of Will. Like I know that they have the caverns, but Teferi doesn't look super great. But I thought that it was going to be decent enough. But you know, you might be right. Maybe we keep the forces. And we actually, I think we can keep the chance here. We have 2 cards. You know, they're probably going to be the Step Throughs. Kind of go fast on the combo. That's what this sideboard plan is going to be. Sideboard plan is to combo quickly. This has 1 piece of the combo, 2 pieces of interaction, and then nothing else. We're on the draw. I don't hate this. We're halfway through to a combo, and we have 2 main pieces of interaction that are potentially quite useful. We have 4 lands. That Mystic Sanctuary is gonna be turned on eventually, which could rebuy the Prismatic Ending and get rid of a problematic permanent. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. It's a little bit on the lower side, but our lands are really important. Something I didn't mention in the deck tech is that this is a very mana-hungry deck, and we want to hit essentially infinite land drops, which this does. This does quite effectively. So this is looking like the Magda deck, for what it's worth. I'm not going to either run the Nomads out or Prismatic Ending, or Pithing Needle. I'm going to wait until I find out some more information to better inform my choices. Yeah, Changeling. Yeah, so this is a dwarf, essentially. So whenever a dwarf becomes tapped, we can read Magda when it comes down. I'm assuming that it will very soon. They're going to name Wizard. Oh, okay. Well, I guess they can name whatever the heck they want, because they're all changelings. Retrofitter Foundry, that's fine. I can Pithing Needle that if I want to. Okay. I think that I am going to get rid of the Retrofitter here. That's going to be some card advantage. These are... I mean, they're going to make a 4/4 right away, right? These are constructs, or Thopters, and you can sack a Thopter to make a construct. So it was a relatively quick clock. The Cavern is on Wizard. Wizard is the Cavern choice. Okay, I think that we're going to be good here. We can just... We're drawing live to a bunch of cantrips, any of our combo pieces, Step Through. We got some live outs. The Swords to Plowshares probably has this construct's name written all over it, but we'll see. Cabal Therapy. I don't have a name for Cabal Therapy quite yet, but that's fine. We're gonna hold on to that Cabal Therapy. I'm not gonna play the Narcomoeba out either right now. I don't know if it's necessary. I'm kind of waiting for a Brainstorm. I want to put back the Mystic Sanctuary and the Narcomoeba with Brainstorm. That would be the ideal draw. If it's not going to be exactly Cephalid Illusionist. Ooh. Okay. Oh, they're not going to Wasteland me. They are going to Wasteland me. I will Swords this construct now. Okay. They could have waited for a Saga, but I haven't actually shown them a Saga yet. Brainstorm is exactly what I wanted to draw. Here we go. We did just see Wasteland, but I am going to keep playing into Wasteland here. I think that's going to be necessary. What are we doing here? Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay. That is a wizard. Can't counter that. Okay. I think I'm gonna play the Mystic Sanctuary out. It's a wild one. This is a very strange deck, Newton. I am not exactly sure what's going on. I'm very intrigued. I just... I don't know what ties this all together. We haven't really seen that yet. Okay, I will play out the Narcomoeba now. Okay. This can at least block one of the creatures. Containment Priest. That's a tough one. We'll need to combo with Thassa's Oracle in our hand. This stops Dread Return. Or we can draw the... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna plan for an eventuality where they can potentially pick that up. I don't know. This is not looking very good. We're at 2. Can't use one of our fetches. Okay. We are deceased. Okay. So, still not quite sure what we're doing, but Containment Priest, we have the Swords to Plowshares, we have Brazen Borrower. We didn't see very many artifacts that we would want to deal with Serenity, or deal with using Serenity, but I think that it's still going to be worth keeping in. At least it cleans up Saga tokens, right? I think I'm just going to resubmit as is. Yeah, Alex, it does make sense with all the changelings. I don't know if I said that before, but... Okay, this is going to be a keepable hand. We've got Force blue card, Brainstorm. We're one card away from a quick combo, Swords to interact with our opponent. This is great. Yeah, very different. I really still don't know what our opponent is doing, what the main plan of this is. And to be completely honest, I hope we don't find out, which means that we probably won really quickly, right? Okay, City of Brass still. I will... Okay. So this is probably the Magda deck, right? Magda plus Magda Changeling is a nice mana advantage. Okay. I'm just going to play out the island, and we can just pass the turn. See what our opponent decides to do. Yeah, just for now, it's just changelings. That's all we've seen. Fairies, I guess. This could be fairy tribal. We could call this wizard tribal. I don't know. It's whatever you want it to be tribal. We've seen a fairy wizard. It's the only definitive creature type that isn't just everything. So, I don't know. We are waiting on our opponent to make a decision on their land drop. They went with Mutavault. And I wonder if this is going to be an end of turn brainstorm. They could have a spell starter sprite, which is acceptable to me if they sprite in my end step. I think that that's okay. I'm not going to force it, I think. I think that that's just going to be fine. My cat sees a bird or a squirrel outside the window. Magna would play... Yeah, we've seen Springleaf Drum from our opponent, actually. Okay, so we've got some lands. We've got Saga, which is going to be the potential win with Illusionist if it survives that long. So that pause kind of makes me think that they've got a spell starter sprite, but we'll see. Draw a Step Through. Okay, that's a really good pitch to Force of Will. Or it can get the Thassa's Oracle if they have a protected Containment Priest. Obviously, we have an answer to Containment Priest. Oh, I meant to play the Saga. Yeah, I just meant to play the Saga. That was my bad. Now we're going to be one turn delayed from a potential combo, and they have one extra turn to draw into a Wasteland. But that's just, that's my bad. Now this Saga can get something like Graveyard Hate, and their Saga is a little bit ahead of mine. That's really just kind of unfortunate. Okay, Brainstorm is good. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Brainstorm, and we've found everything that we need to win. So I'm going to put back. So I'm not going to try to win right now. They are representing Containment Priest. But what I can do is I can put back like Brainstorm and Urza Saga, which I don't need anymore. And then I can fetch with a Flooded Strand and Ponder and find additional protection. It seems pretty good. So I could obviously try to go right now, but I won't have swords for their Containment Priest and Force of Will. I would just have Force of Will for their Containment Priest and nothing else. And I would rather have more than that. I would have as much protection as possible. I think that we can wait one turn, and the Thassa's Oracle is right there. I'm going to shuffle that. Yes. Okay. Well, Brainstorm actually can be my pitch if I need to Wizard Cycle to Step Through. For some reason, my protection against Containment Priest doesn't end up working. We'll find out. And the Vial is actually not going to be able to tick up quickly enough to 2 for the Containment Priest that we already know about. Okay, they're going to get in for 1. I'm going to preemptively and probably kind of cocky pop out my graveyard. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. Karma's going to do that to me. I'm sure of it, but oh well. Okay, so we have 4 mana, which is going to be the Nomads, then the Cephalid Illusionist with Swords to Plowshares for a Containment Priest and Force of Will backup. So I think we're good. We'll see. And here's the Illusionist. And the Nomads, I can activate at instant speed, which is really nice. Depending on the timing of things, I can play around cards like Surgical Extraction. Not Surgical Extraction, Endurance, excuse me. Or targeted removal on the Illusionist by just activating in response to a Swords to Plowshares. Orcish Bowmasters. Well, somebody was asking me, who was that? Newton, you were asking me if I had seen a lot of Orcish Bowmasters. I had not, and now I am. I'm going to force this, pitching a Brainstorm. Okay. And now I can target the Illusionist, save the targets, and always yield, and then always yield. Human Doom. I do not have a haircut. I've still got my long hair. It just looks a little bit different, perhaps, on green screen. I don't know. Yes, so let's actually read Orcish Bowmasters. When it enters the battlefield, and other things, when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. And I have a Nomads that doesn't want it to be dealt 1 damage. So definitely worth a counter there, in my opinion. I could have countered it, or I could have like played out a Shuko, but I think that having Swords to Plowshares up still, they're not representing, actually, I should have looked at the colored mana requirements. They don't actually have Containment Priest represented, because they only had 1 colored source this entire game. That might have been a problem for them. I don't know. Okay, 8 cards left, 5 cards left, and let's do this. Okay, they have conceded the game. Cool. We are up 1 for our first game. All right. Orcish Bowmasters coming in, not working out quite as well as they had hoped. We did have double protection. Nice. That's kind of the nice thing. This is turn 5. We don't have to go super quickly. We can just make sure that we have the protection that we need. Or if we know that we need to go quickly, we can mulligan to a hand or construct a hand that wins on turn 2 or 3. Really cool. Alex, yeah, I could have like cycled to get the Thassa's Oracle, but I didn't have enough mana to do that quickly, and I was kind of worried about the fact that I would have to like deploy creatures from across 2 turns, open them up to removal, and then break it up like that. I could have played around the Fairy Macabre for sure, but I think that it was better to not. I don't know. Yeah, Orcish Bowmasters could be potentially good against 8-cast. They don't have very many targets. Like, obviously, if they have like a Psy Master Thopterist, every single time they draw a card, you can just ping one of the tokens. You can get rid of Emery eventually. You can kind of do stuff like that. But it's probably better in... I mean, it's just good in general, right? Just kind of hoses decks that draw cards, which turns out a lot of decks want to draw cards. All right, I'm going to run a quick ad. If you like this content, then you can do what Jason did and become a YouTube member. You get a lot of perks. You get to spam awesome emotes. We can talk about some of that later on. Maybe Jason's going to spam some as we're talking about it. But if you like it, then let me tell you about how you can become a YouTube member and support awesome content like this, as well as more prepared videos that Brian does.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic.
All right. So yeah, Newton, you are correct. I forgot that Orcish Bowmasters can just go face. I didn't really click. Yeah, you can just dome them for 5 at the end of their Mishra's Bauble activations. That's really cool. Emotes don't show up as pictures, just the type. Huh. I'm seeing pictures. I'm not sure. Okay, we won the die roll again. That's always nice. Love to see that. And excuse me. I am not going to keep this. No blue mana. Urza Sagas are cool, but not that cool. So we're gonna mulligan. Really nice to get all of the mana under us early on. This is actually going to allow us to do that. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back the basic island. And we're going to start off with a Scalding Tarn and pass to our opponent. Something that we want to make sure that we don't do is play out our combo pieces too early. We don't want to get Swords to Plowshares and have to find both combo pieces again. The Urza Saga Mirror. We are not very good against the Saga mirrors. Our construct tokens are not that large. Do I play out the Saga? Do I try to brainstorm? I think that I'm going to brainstorm. Yeah, we'll play out a Tundra and then just pass the turn. We can brainstorm at end of turn. This could be 8 cast, which is a difficult matchup, I'm told. Not hard necessarily, but complicated, right? Very different. Oh, okay. We're just going to make a bunch of Saga tokens. I see that. End step, we are going to brainstorm. I have the ability to find the combo. I didn't get the combo directly, but kind of, sort of. Teferi can go back, and so can maybe the Saga. We're probably not going to have time to go through Saga-shaped things, and having just all of the colored mana sources that we need for our turn is probably the best. So we'll fetch in our upkeep. We don't want to draw these cards again. We'll get another Tundra. Narcomoeba. Okay. So let's just play this out. We can cycle a Step Through at the end of our opponent's turn, find the Cephalid Illusionist, and then we are ready to go. Doesn't matter how... And we're going to fetch, by the way, in response to the Saga. They are going to make constructs. I am going to fetch to play around Pithing Needle. And they're going to find something. Mox Opal. Okay. This could be... Oh, another Saga. That's not very good. Our opponent's clock is very quick. 2 mana. Grim Monolith. Okay, so this is a... I'm going to let this resolve. This is probably actually playing the One Ring, which is a cool card I'm going to be excited about showcasing on stream potentially, if they play it. I don't know. They might not play it. But the One Ring is from the Lord of the Rings supplemental set, and kind of cool. A couple of cards, couple of not combos, but it's just a good card in general. So we're going to wizard cycle this Step Through and find an Illusionist. And... Ooh, okay. So we drew another Narcomoeba, but this is fine because we actually have the Nomads version of the combo, not the Shuko version of the combo. If it was the Shuko version of the combo, we wouldn't actually have enough creatures to flash back Dread Return. So kind of fortunate that we have this version of the combo and not the other. But we don't need all four Narcomoebas. That's not necessary. So this is turn 4? Turn 4, yeah. Pretty cool. I think that it's going to work out well. We still have force backup. There's the Thoracle. We've already hit the Dread Return. We just need to hit that last Narcomoeba. It's in the last 5 cards. Last 2 cards. There it is. And the Dread Return on the Thassa's Oracle. Sack, sack, sack. And let the trigger resolve, and we won the game. Okay, nice and clean. Turn 4. This is likely going to be a... Well, it's a stompy deck, right? But likely playing the One Ring as a way to I don't know, try out the new cards. I like the white cards in our sideboard. Staff of the Storyteller is probably not very good. Nardolphin, yeah, this is a very good deck. Okay, I'm gonna sideboard kind of like this is 8 cast. Well, a little bit like 8 cast. It's probably closer to. This isn't on the sideboard guide, as it turns out. So we can probably. What are we doing? Retrofitter Foundry. If we're doing that, so it's going to be Retrofitter Foundry, Shuko, 2 Orim's Chants, a Step Through, interesting, and not the Swords to Plowshares, and 1 Plains. Okay, so that is how Coval was boarding for 8 cast. Yeah, it's likely a Mystic Forge deck, but it also plays the One Ring. I think that a lot of people are playing that. I've run into it 2 or 3 times now. Ran into it more often than I have Orcish Bowmasters, that's for sure. So yeah, let's try that out. And we can just submit, and if we need to adjust as we move along, then we certainly can. This is an unkeepable hand, unfortunately. It has a lot of things that we want, just not quite right. Oh, hey, they're a Serum Powder deck. Oh, they're playing Defense Grid. Okay. Caracas, Rishadenport, Crystal Vein. I'm gonna mulligan this. Interesting. Underground Sea, not at its finest right now, especially with all of these lovely white cards in our hand. I would like to cast them, but probably gonna keep this anyway. I'm gonna keep this and put back probably a Prismatic Ending. Okay. So, Leyline of the Void. Okay, well, we've got something to answer that. That's totally fine. Rishadenport and pass. Okay. I mean, they are likely playing Karn too, right? Just like, maybe our Staff of the Storyteller is worse because of that, but, oh, speaking of. Okay, so this is a combo piece. This does not contain a white source of mana. I think I'm going to shuffle this. We don't necessarily need a combo piece right now. Another Ponder is not bad. Like, it's so easy to put Karn in this kind of a deck, right? With all of your soul lands. I don't know. 2 Rishadenports. Chalice on 1. Well, we have an answer to that. We just need to draw. We have 2 answers to that, actually. We just need to draw a white source. We didn't find one with the Ponder. That's a little late. I would have liked that. I would have forced the Chalice. Mostly because we can't dig to an answer to the rest of everything. But maybe that's fine. They're not presenting a terribly quick clock. They have... Ooh, Wasteland. Well, okay. Oh, they pitched another Wasteland. That Mox Diamond. Trinisphere. Plus Wasteland. Okay. Well, this gets a Force. And we're going to pitch a Brainstorm, I think. Ponder is just a little bit better right now. Once we find a white source, I'll float mana for some reason. Okay. Interesting time to wasteland me, but I mean, it was on their turn. Makes sense. Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, put a Serenity into play. Blow up their Chalice, blow up their Mox Diamond, blow up the Leyline of the Void. We have Prismatic Ending, Ponders to follow everything up. They are disincentivized to play out any cards. They have one card in hand, actually. Okay, we're going to destroy a lot of things. They're going to tap my Rishadan Port, or my Tundra with their Rishadan Port. Makes sense. That's fine. And then everything gets blown up. Okay, okay. Play out a Flooded Strand. I'll cast this Ponder. Nomads, en-Kor, and Brainstorm. Very good cards to have. I will draw the Nomads. So we have survived long enough. Now we're looking for some combo pieces. I'm less likely to play around things like Fairy Macabre because I've seen the ley lines. I doubt that they have more than 5. Okay, so I'm going to fetch. Shuffle away that Brainstorm, which is fine. Don't want them to needle the Flooded Strand in my hand. I have Prismatic Ending for the needle. If it names Nomad, it could name Shuko. It does name Nomad, so I will Prismatic Ending it at some point. Yeah, Nardolphin, I like the staffs for sure. I like them better than Stoneforge. I played Stoneforge maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Longer than that. It was like October or November of last year. But I mean, it's another viable way to play the game. Teferi. So Serenity is cool. Teferi is cool. I don't think that I need any of these cards. I'm looking for an Illusionist. So, Gavin, hello. Yeah, welcome back to stream. It's really good to see you here. I'm glad that you could catch it live. I am going to shuffle. Cabal Therapy, not necessarily at its finest, but I'm not opposed to the idea of, you know what? I'm not actually going to needle, or I'm not going to ending the needle yet. I don't need to, and if there's something that comes along that's worse for me to deal with, that I need to deal with, I'd rather do that. So I think I'm fine with that. Okay, our opponent has missed on some land drops. They have 2 cards in hand. They're going to port me, that's fine. Brainstorm. Okay, I will Brainstorm here. Looking for Illusionist land. Didn't find Illusionist land, but I did find Staff of the Storyteller. So I can put back the Cabal Therapy and the Brazen Borrower. And then this Flooded Strand can get the... Do I have Underground Sea in my graveyard? Yeah, it was exiled. Okay, so we're just going to get Tundra number 4. And then play Staff, which is just such a good card. I don't need to do anything like draw right away. In fact, what I can do... no, I won't do that. I could have used the... what are we doing here? Karn the Great Creator. Well, now I'm going to draw. Another Brainstorm. Okay. What are they going to do with Karn? They are going to Wish. I think that I like the Mystic Sanctuary version over the Scrubland version. I don't think that needing to hardcast Dread Return is necessary at all. The extra white source might be decent because with staff you... Oh, what the heck? Palantir of Orthanc. At the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on this and scry 2. Then target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on this permanent, and that player loses life equal to the total mana value of those cards. Wow! That is some top-down design for sure, but pretty cool. Okay. Interesting. So I can attack Karn, just straight up. And then Brainstorm. Another staff. Doesn't do what I want it to. Urza's Saga is pretty decent. What does it do? The one the opponent revealed. So it's going to allow my opponent the ability to draw cards or dome me for a bunch of life. Let's see. Urza's Saga. And then I can prismatic ending the Pithing Needle. I'm not going to be able to prismatic ending that. Okay. Interesting. This is an interesting game for sure. Hey, O'Doyle. Yeah, this is not... okay, so it kind of is Storm. Oh, Blast Zone. That's going to be rough to deal with. I am playing Flusterstorm. So there's a card with Storm in the deck. Okay, Palantir of Orthanc. There we go. Okay, plussing Karn, totally fine. We're going to be drawing... Okay. Do they draw... Do I want them to draw a card? No. Okay, I got domed for 4 because they put a ley line on top. Oh no, they bottomed both, and then I took 4. That's interesting. Jonathan, yeah, big yikes. And then they're gonna port me, which is also fine. Yep, I'm gonna draw a Teferi, and I'm going to play out the Teferi. Do I want a prismatic ending or ponder? You know what? Drawing a ponder doesn't seem half bad, right? Let's grab a ponder. Use the ability. And then Teferi, let's bounce the Palantir. Make them spend more mana and attack Karn. Let it not be able to wish again without killing itself. And then I can ponder. Still looking for... Well, Pithing Needle's not bad. I can turn the Karn off. Blast Zone is a little annoying because it can deal with the Nomads. I can Pithing Needle the Blast Zone. I can Pithing Needle the Karn. I can Pithing Needle the Schadenport. I could shuffle this. I'm not excited about shuffling, but drawing all of these cards is not the greatest. I'm actually not drawing all the cards. I'm only drawing 2 of the cards because Urza's Saga is actually going to tutor up the Shuko. So that's actually okay. So let's actually put Thassa's Oracle in my hand. Next turn. Don't shuffle. So I can Pithing Needle. I can Pithing Needle the Karn. Yeah, Newton, 16 turns. It's totally fine. Everything's fine. If I find another staff, I guess I could double my clock. Karn, the Great Creator. Yes, Unpunded. Yes, Lord of the Rings is unleashed, and here we go. I don't think that it's going to be Blast Zone. I'm actually pretty positive it's not going to be Blast Zone. Like, this is going to be my win condition now. I don't think that I'm going to be comboing. I'm just going to be making a token and bashing for 4, 5, 6, 3 turn clock. It's not bad. Okay. This is an interesting little dichotomy. It's like if they scry, what level system are they on? Are they, so they get to scry, right? Scry 2 at the beginning of their end step, and then I can make them mill X cards, with X being the number of counters on it, or they get to draw a card. And what level are they on? Did they top good cards, or did they top cards that they want me to mill? I don't know. Interesting. Orcish is the better one. Yeah, O'Doyle, there's not like the one ring. I guess this is playable, I suppose. But okay, I'm going to just see what they do. Bottomed 2. I'm going to not have them draw cards. They mill a Grim Monolith, and I take 2. Okay. They can port me. If they do, I could have activated Saga, but instead we're going to find a Shuko. Okay. And we're going to attack Karn for 1. This isn't going to change the clock, I think, and if I can eventually attack the Karn, I can activate my staff, which is going to be great. Once I kill the Karn, that'll be very useful. And because of that, so let's plus this Teferi. Show and tell, yeah, that's kind of worrisome when you're playing against show and tell. Am I going to play out the Thassa's Oracle? No. Okay, and they can put a charge counter onto Blast Zone, or they're just killing all of my ones, which is Pithing Needle and Shuko. That's fine. So they can plus Karn again, but I can kill Karn and then draw with staff. Or they want to kill the Teferi. Are they going to try to kill the Teferi? I don't know. They are going to try to kill the Teferi. I am not going to block. They can kill the Teferi. That's fine. I want to get this Karn off so I can start. I want to remove this Karn, the Great Creator, from the battlefield so that I can draw cards with Staff of the Storyteller. Okay. So I'm going to... They're either going to draw a card or mill 2 and dome me for some amount of damage. They bottomed both. I'm going to have them mill 2. Trinosphere and Urza's Saga. Okay, so I took 3. I don't know if that's correct, but I just don't want them drawing cards. I want to use my life total as a resource. And I think that I can effectively do that. They're going to potentially port me. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So I can attack them for, well, am I going to attack? Yeah, I can attack them for 1. And then attack Karn for 2. Kill the Karn. Which allows me to draw with staff. Another staff. That's fantastic. So this is going to double charge the staff. I actually have a blocker now, which is great. I can always yield to these. That's fine. Do I want to draw immediately? No, I don't think so. And I'm not going to play out the Oracle. I can still technically combo. We'll see how that goes. I might start letting them draw cards now. Yeah, it does mill. Oh, yeah. Palantir mills the owner of Palantir, not the opponent of Palantir. Okay, so I'm going to draw a card first. Another land. I'm going to let them draw a card. This time I'm going to let them draw a card. Milling 3 is quite a lot of damage. Yeah, you can draw a card. And then they're likely to port me now. So I'm going to draw a card with staff in response to the port using the land that they tap down. Another land. We are a little bit flooded. Just a teensy bit flooded. Okay, I think I'm going to attack with everything. My Saga token is actually bigger than their Saga token at the moment. And then I'm going to play out this Narcomoeba. And I think I'm going to play out this Thassa's Oracle. As long as I don't have Cabal Therapy in any place I don't want it to be. Actually, let's pop out the graveyards. That seems useful. Yeah, okay, let's Thassa's Oracle. I can Cabal Therapy to get it into my graveyard if I need that. Brazen Borrower. Prismatic Ending. So, put on card on top. Putting like a Saga token, bouncing that one is not the worst thing in the world. Prismatic Ending is also not that bad. Let's do the Brazen Borrower thing. Okay, I guess I could have put Petty Theft on top. I have 2 options. Interesting. Wasn't really expecting that. Okay, so they've got a 2/2. They're going to have a 3/3 that gets turned into 2 4/4s. That could be even bigger after that, depending on what the rest of their turn looks like. But I have 3 1/1 flyers, which is not nothing, and I can continue chump blocking with things like Thassa's Oracle, my own construct. I have the Brazen Borrower that can bounce something and then start attacking. We might be able to race our opponent. I'm not sure. Yeah, I might be able to use Nomad's ability. Not sure. Mox Diamond. Okay. Not quite sure why we were doing that, but I guess a Dead City of Traders is a reasonable way to go. Defense grid. Okay, that's fine. It's an artifact for the constructs. They are hellbent. Manifold key. They were a Grim Monolith build, so that makes sense. Urza Saga gets the manifold key. This also means that something can't be blocked. Are they going to activate it? Nope. Okay. I am going to block this. Another staff would be pretty good. I know that that's not going to happen right now. They are going to be able to draw a card, I gotta tell you. Hey, yeah, Brian, we got green screened. Yeah, they get to draw a card. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so Brazen Borrower, good card. Nomads en-Kor. Blocker. One, two, three, four, five, six. So they're not dead. They're pretty close. Let's see. It has been a long time since I've played Rite of Flame. I'm upset. So I'm actually going to just attack with... should I attack with everything? I can Brazen Borrower the one that they don't, or the one that they activate Manifold Key on, and then block the other one. And this is enough. No, I'm just going to attack with this. One storm card. Yes, one storm card. That's all we need. Ever play Rite of Flame again? I will play next week. I think we're going to play the new list, by the way. The Epic Storm's new version 14.6 or 14.7. I'm not really sure which one is going to be. I don't know if that's actually an official list. Spoilers. Oh. But, okay. So we're going to be able to force them to activate the Manifold Key. Petty Theft the one that they activate on, and then chump block the next one. And then I think that with the Petty Theft, putting Brazen Borrower in, that's fine. I don't care about that. They have one card in hand. And so this is going to be Mox Diamond plus the 2 lands. This is going to be Manifold Key so they don't lose life. Okay, can't be blocked. That's fine. You, look at this. Look at this Storm player doing combat math. Can you believe it? Petty Theft. Forgot about the defense grid, but we have totally a lot of mana. We have totally the right amount of mana for that. Totally forgot about that one. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, they're going to be able to draw a card. And I think... one, two... So they block here. They take 4. It's not going to do it for us. So they block the construct and they take 4, go down to 1. I don't actually know if this is going to be enough. Maybe I'm not doing combat math the right way. I thought that I was going to be able to cast Brazen Borrower. That's what actually happened. I just need them to not have an artifact in 3 draws. Unlikely. Okay. Concede this one. Let's win in 4 minutes. Really was talking to y'all and kind of screwed everything up, didn't it? 4 minutes to do all of this. It's totally fine. I'm going to stop talking to y'all. We've got an answer to the ley line. Oops. Got another answer to the ley line. Yeah, they had key to make it unblockable. I'm gonna counter this actually. Okay, we're so close. One card away. Do they have Karn? Oh, Pants Karn. Oops. Interesting. I'm not sure this is going to work out super well for me. Okay, I get a Mox Diamond. That's fine. Playing fast and loose. You're mapping for Saga. Okay, makes sense. They have other Karn? Okay. Glad I stopped auto-yielding. This brazen borrower that I can do things with. Turn off auto yields for that one. Maybe if I need to attack. Not sure. This Karn is going to get some creatures that I'm concerned about. Not creatures, spells, artifact. Jeez. Like I said, Flatus. Can I beat this? I'm attacking for 6 a turn? Oh, that's huge. Oh, man. Okay. I'll concede here. I'm not going to win against a 10-10 construct. I think that I was talking a little bit too quickly, a little bit too loose in the game 2, and that really kind of paid dividends later on for my opponent to clutch a victory in game 3. That's unfortunate. We are 1-1. However, thank you all for chatting and keeping the content going, even though I was super focused. I think that there were some choices that I made that were a little bit optimized, we'll put it that way. While we're queuing up for our third match in the league, talk to you about making tokens, making constructs that our opponent was able to do. All of these Staff of the Storytellers, those 1/1 flyers, pretty cool. If you want tokens, then you can buy a token pack that I'm going to tell you about right now.
Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game.
And we indeed are back. Yeah, I should main phase things. You know, as it turns out, a Storm pilot that doesn't usually go to time, those kind of gameplay things just aren't in my mind, like how best to optimize going to the bottom of the clock. Play things in my main phase that I can just skip through the entire rest of my opponent's turn. F6, F6, F6. Those kind of optimizations are things that I need to get used to. I played in paper an event last weekend called the Oklahoma Land Run. It's a large, it's kind of somewhere between like a 5 and a 10K, depending on the turnout. Happens every year. And I got paired up against, I was playing the Epic Storm, of course. And I got paired up against the Riddler. Newton, that's awesome. Yeah, Rogsai, fantastic use of tokens. I got paired up against the Riddler, and my opponent was not super well versed in playing the Riddler. Super cool deck, by the way. Just an awesome pile of cards. It just doesn't... It functions in a complicated way. There are a lot of triggers to manage. Even online, you have to discard and draw and put things under containment constructs and all of this kind of stuff. We are up against a Cryptic, modern players by the sound of it. Snapcaster Cryptic command. But anyway, my opponent was not having a great time of it. This, though, we are having a great time. Tundra will cast all of our spells. Step Through is going to find our Cephalid Illusionist, and we have Urza Saga as backup. We're on the play. I think I'm going to keep this. I am looking for, yeah, Andros, definitely definitely a snap keep. I think I'm going to just look for protection straight up here. We're going to start pondering early for Force of Will, for Orim's Chant, extra lands. Those that's none of those things. So we're going to shuffle that. Retrofitter Rep Foundry. I did shuffle. Yeah, Snap Keep against Snap Cryptic. Urza Saga Mirror. Uh-oh. Like I was talking about, the Urza Saga Mirror does not necessarily favor Cephalid Breakfast. Pretty interesting, because their Saga tokens are often a lot bigger than ours. Ours just functions to tutor up Shuko at that point. Ooh, Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, are we playing like a Wheels deck? Are we playing the Riddler even? I don't know. We're going to find out. Okay, so I think that it's just going to be... I should probably ponder first. Maybe I don't need this Saga. So let's ponder first. Should I ponder or should I brainstorm? Let's brainstorm. I think that that's actually going to be better. We can change our hand up a little bit more easily. Yeah, okay. We have a win next turn if we survive the turn. And I can put back Narcomoeba and Urza Saga, play the Tundra, and ponder likely shuffle unless the card on the very bottom is a Force of Will. But I want a Force of Will. And that's going to be any order. And yes, shuffle. Brazen Borrower, not bad, depending on what our opponent is doing. Excuse me. Shuffling is a sign of weakness. Our opponent may be, or is obviously a combo deck. But I think that it's a necessary evil, and we need to look for the forces. But if we get to untap, it is unlikely that our opponent has interaction. I hope. And we can present a turn 3. Yeah, turn 3. Okay. They are not doing anything. Interesting. Mox Opal does not tap for mana. So I don't have to worry about that. I can just play the Nomads. I'm going to pop this graveyard out, maybe preemptively. This is unprotected as it gets. But I don't think that it's going to get any better. This Saga is going off. Right now, we're going to try to beat it. And it is correct for my opponent to make us mill everything out. Totally makes sense, but we are going to make them have something. I don't know what they could have. Oh, they're just going to go for it. Okay. I'm not going to see what kind of build we are. I think that that's incorrect. We could have a handful of Narcomoebas, but our opponent's totally fine with that. Okay. So I'm expecting some kind of Echo of Eons deck. Potentially something with either Orcish Bowmasters or Hull Breacher. I like the swords here. I like the Serenities and Prismatic Endings. We've seen Saga. Maybe the Prismatic Endings are less good. Maybe that's actually not the greatest. Pithing Needle seems decent. Flusterstorm seems decent. I think I actually have a sideboard plan against the Epic Gamble. Yeah, Staff of the Storyteller, not at its best here as it turns out. Probably not Retrofitter Foundry either. Teferi, probably not. And then maybe, okay, so 2 Prismatic Ending. I'm using a sideboard guide that I got, and it's going to be Plains and, what was it? Teferi, 2 Prismatic Ending, Retrofitter Foundry. What's coming in? Oh, the Serenity. Okay, I think that's going to be how we're going for this board. I know, wants to bring in swords. However, if it's the Epic Gamble, okay, fine. Maybe that's not a viable thing, but this kind of makes me think that it's one of these turbo Echo decks that has Hull Breachers in it. Maybe that's kind of unnecessary. Ugh, I don't know. Saga Storm, yeah, that might be it. Okay, so in that case, I'm bringing in these. Oh, I didn't want the, whoops, didn't want the Plains. Maybe I'll keep the Plains. Got 20 seconds. We'll bring in a Prismatic Ending. Yeah, maybe the Plains is just bad. Sorry, I put it in the wrong piles and kind of just got me. Sorry, I was building my piles of ins and outs, and then I just put them in the wrong pile. I put the Plains in the card pile to bring in. It was just a mess. But that's fine. We haven't really seen all that much. It could be Black Saga Storm. It could be the Riddler. Probably not the Epic Gamble, but like the sideboarding might be similar, right? Or it could be the Wheels deck that is playing the Dragon, the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know. This looks pretty good though. We've got Forced Blue card. Orim's Chant is great in the matchup. Saga is going to function really nicely. I actually kind of want to get the Saga going quickly. The Riddler, it plays Riddlesmith and Containment Construct as a functional engine that seeks to play a bunch of artifacts that will eventually cast Echo of Eons a ton of times, and then you just grape shot your opponent after an egregiously long combo turn. I played it on the stream actually, maybe a month and a half ago or so. You should check it out after you watch this stream. Yeah. So it's known as the Riddler. Dark Ritual. Okay. Dark Ritual. Wheel of Misfortune. It is the wheel deck. This actually could still be the Riddler. There are some versions that play Wheel of Misfortune, but I'm going to just counter this and not have to worry about it. Yes, Bryant. You are... Oh. Okay. I think that there was a lot of game to still play there, but I'm okay with the force check, and we're done. Cool. I guess it didn't matter if we had swords or not. We just needed force in our opening. So We are 2-1, heading into the 4th round. As we head into the 4th round, let me tell you a bit about some awesome content that you can support. Our Patreon, which is from theepicstorm.com. It directly supports the writers, of which I am one of them. And actually, my article is going to go live to Patreon within the next day or two, actually. I need to finish inputting everybody's answers to Infernal Tutoring, which is the article series that I write. Got a really cool guest.
Want early access to articles at theepicstorm.com? Become a member of our Patreon to get articles 7 days early, on top of other sweet benefits, and help us pay our website team. You can sign up at patreon.com/theepicstorm.
Okay, you can probably hear me now. Sorry about that. I don't know, but my thumb hits a different mute button that I don't use very often. So, I am going to mulligan this hand. Yeah, I am back. And I'm going to keep this hand. I'm going to put back the Cabal Therapy. I'm going to start on a basic island ponder. The perma-mute button. Yeah, it actually is. So I have like a stream deck that's right here, and my regular mute button is over here. And the stream deck technically has a mute button on it. And I do bully Brian daily. It's kind of a quid pro quo. Ooh, okay. Staff of the Storyteller is pretty good. And some extra lands. All right. Yeah, muted, technical problems whatsoever. Everything is just peanut butter and jelly. Can't remember what our opponent plays. Can't remember if this is a fair matchup that I need to be concerned about, or... Yeah, it is a fair matchup. Yep. Okay. This is not something that I have played against with my opponent, but whatever. I don't actually know of anybody else that plays that deck. I think that was mostly just a one-off, kind of just testing something new. There's a lot of combo decks that are not particularly viable. Just kind of the nature of modern, of any format really. Okay, I'm going to not play out the staff in the face of a daze. Yeah, thank you. I do have a sweet shirt on. Thank you for noticing. I'm gonna play out the Shuko, probably. Yeah, let's just play out the Shuko. This will actually allow me to suit up the token that I'm gonna get with staff. I know that there's a channel for that storm, or for that deck in the Discord, Jason. Not 100% sure if it's very active. There's some more or less active channels on the Storm Discord. Basic planes in the channel, but it's such a pretty basic planes. This is my favorite basic planes. What if I play Bomberman? Bomberman's a mono white deck. I'm gonna have to play planes there, basic planes. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a terribly viable combo deck at the moment. Okay, our opponent has Delirium. Totally fine. Ponder. They have Uber Delirium now. Yeah, the Lord of the Rings basics are quite nice. I will give you that. Okay. Binning a Murktide Regent, which I'm fine with. Likely means that they have one in hand already. I mean, try it out. Doesn't mean, just because that it's not necessarily a heavily played deck, doesn't mean that there isn't room for growth and testing and things like that. So, you know, be the change you want to see in the world. Play it, see what happens. If you don't vibe with it, then move on to something else. But it doesn't hurt to try. At least once. First and last, yeah, Brian definitely did a really good job at showcasing the power of the deck. But honestly, he could pick up a pile of trash and perform well with it. Just part of his skill, though, is excellent deck selection. And he picked one that was really good for the weekend and played it to perfection. Actually perfection, because he went undefeated. Undefeated in the Swiss completely, because he drew in his last 2 rounds, I think. Okay. So, let's see what we're doing. We're drawing another basic. So I'm going to play this basic. Play the staff through a daze. They have 6 cards in their hand, which is a lot of cards. I am going to equip the spirit. It's not going to do anything with this Darcy in there, but could eventually get in for 2, maybe. It's really not the purpose of the card. I don't think that I'm going to be attacking for the win in this game, but this staff is going to draw a card and maybe chump block and all that good stuff. My clock is not quite as good. I would... Oh, yeah, definitely not going to be blocking with this thing. Okay. Binning another Murktide Regent. That seems... Okay, I'm not going to be able to pay double red to bring it back. And... Okay. I really want this Brainstorm to be good. Like, it's kind of the goal here. Delver is fine. It's not a card that I am going to care about right now. Right now, I can draw with staff. Ooh, Teferi is a good one. It did gain me 3 life. So, let's draw with a staff. Nomads. Already got a copy of that, sort of, right? Shuko. Let's brainstorm. I can put back this Mystic Sanctuary. There's a Step Through. That's a wizard. So I can put back Mystic Sanctuary and Misty Rainforest. First and last. I really appreciate that. That's mostly Bryant. I'm just here having fun. But we are going to present a combo potentially next turn. I'm going to cycle... for a wizard next turn, and then I could deploy a Teferi if I draw a blue card, and then I bounce some things and force them to attack the Teferi or fight over the Teferi potentially. Not sure. Okay, we've got a ponder. I'm gonna pop out the graveyards. They're gonna be potentially relevant if there's a Murktide in my future, which I'm not sure about. They kept one on top. Okay, concerning. Maybe a lightning bolt, maybe a force of will, maybe a daze. Probably not a daze. But if they have multiple dazes, then they might be able to force the action on a spell. We are able to play around Wasteland, which is kind of an unintentional consequence of drawing all of our basic lands. It's been really nice not having to worry about Wasteland, which is great. Okay, now we're going to open ourselves up to Wasteland, get a Tundra, and yes, Newton, we are going to Wizard Cycle. Gonna get a Cephalid Illusionist. Prepare for a combo. If we draw a land, then we can... well, that's a blue card. So... they have 4 cards in hand. What I can do is play the Nomads and the Cephalid Illusionist, which kind of works around spot removal, and then I have Force, Pitch, Teferi as my protection. Yeah. And if they choose to Lightning Bolt the Illusionist, I can activate the Nomads in response to that Lightning Bolt, for example. Probably a Lightning Bolt. And mill my graveyard. Which will have 2 Narcomoebas in there, which will allow me enough creatures to combo. It's 1 Narcomoeba. I can draw 1 Narcomoeba in this line and be fine with 1 removal spell. Okay, so their Darcy can resolve. I've got the Shuko right here, so they might have another Lightning Bolt, which is fine. I have an answer to that. I'm playing around Daze, but I can't beat another Lightning Bolt and Force blue card. Okay, so they've got Force and presumably a blue card. Daze. Just playing around Daze. It's nice. So I kept a card on top. I am going to force... I'm going to pitch Narcomoeba. If this doesn't end up actually working out, Teferi is going to be able to potentially buy me a little bit of time. I don't know. Is their last card Lightning Bolt? That is the way that they would win the game here. I'm a little nervous. Can't tell if, like, maybe my opponent has a brainstorm. Oh. Well, that'll do it. Chain lightning? That's not the right lightning. Oh my gosh, if they have a brainstorm, then they may have really messed up. Yeah. I don't know if I should have won that game. If our opponent has a brainstorm, then they had the ability to Mystic Sanctuary, put Lightning Bolt back on top of their library, and then brainstorm into the bolt, which would then go into their hand, right? And then they could bolt the Illusionist at this stage after the trigger, or after it resolved, and I have given them priority. Not sure if I should have won that game. I'll take it. Not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, but I don't know. Okay, so I am going to look at the sideboard guide for Delver, and it's going to be 3 Swords to Plowshares, makes sense. 3 Prismatic Endings, also makes sense. 1 Flusterstorm, 1 Hydroblast, also all makes sense. We're going to take out the Force of Wills. We are a card. We don't want to be interacting in a 2-for-1, or we don't want a 2-for-1 ourselves, right? Each of our cards are going to matter in the long run. And then, let's see, 2 Step Through, 1 Shuko, and 1 Teferi. Okay, we can go a little bit slower. That's what these removal spells are telling me, right? So you can take a sideboard guide and you can just read it and then do the thing, but let's actually use a sideboard guide for what it should be used for, and that's gleaning some knowledge based on how the person who made the sideboard guide plays the matchup. What can we learn about how Brian Coval plays the Blue-Red Delver matchup? Force of Wills are not good because they require a card, and we don't want to go down a card in a matchup that is going to be attrition-based. Likewise, because we want to make the game go a little bit longer, we've brought in removal spells, and we've brought in, because the game is going to go longer, we're going to hit our land drops. We have actual mana counter spells that trade 1-for-1, or even in Flusterstorm's case, potentially even 2-for-1. And that's going to be more efficient than Force of Will is. So, and we don't need to Force of Will our opponent's cards, not likely anyway. We want to protect our own. So, yeah, I think that makes sense to me. This looks like a good hand, with the exception of Dread Return, which obviously is going to kind of be in our hand for a while until we can Cabal Therapy it out, or we can Brainstorm it away. But it's got some really good cards in Ponder and Staff of the Storyteller and Swords to Plowshares, and we're going to do something a little bit different, which is not Ponder on turn 1. We're going to keep this hand, but what we're going to do is we're going to Ponder on turn 2 around days, and then plan on Staff of the Storyteller on turn 3 around days, and immediately being able to draw a card. So these 2 Flooded Strands are going to be 2 white sources to be able to allow us to do that. Now, at some point, we can, instead of pondering Swords to Plowshares, the Dragon's Rage Channeler. I'm not going to do that right now. Again, days. We can afford to allow our opponent a couple of Surveils, not Scries. And that's just fine. I would rather more permanently deal with this Dragon's Rage Channeler than like wasteland an opponent, stone rain an opponent by forcing them to daze. Steam Vents, okay. And they're shocking it in. I mean, this kind of screams Pyroblast, right? Unless they're doing something like pondering on their second main phase, I'm kind of guessing that this is a Pyroblast. So what I'm going to do is, okay, Narcomoeba. I'm going to fetch a basic Plains here, and I'm going to just Swords right now. I don't need to wait and try to get tricky, give our opponent a chance to ponder or anything like that. It is Spell Pierce. Wow, Alex, you just straight up called that one, didn't you? Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty good call. I was expecting Pyroblast, and Spell Pierce it was. I think that the one of Spell Pierce is Newton. I've got Cabal Therapy and Brainstorm. Those are my 2 ways to put Dread Return not in my hand. Okay. So my goal now is to Staff of the Storyteller, using this Underground Sea in the basic planes, and then the Flooded Strand can get a Tundra for me to actually draw a card immediately. Okay, our opponent has Darcy. I have taken 1 twice. Urza Saga. Okay. That's a better land. This could just draw out a wasteland. Our opponent didn't play a land last turn. That could mean that they don't have another land in their hand, or they're baiting me to play out a dual land or an Urza Saga for them to then deploy a wasteland. Whereas if they played the wasteland immediately, I just wouldn't play out the Saga, right? I am going to play out the Saga. Maybe my opponent is next leveling me, but I am going to just deploy the staff now. This might actually eat a Force of Will. It does. Okay. They're considering. Okay, they're forcing again. And they're pitching a Daze. Okay, we were right to play around Daze all of these turns. We can just play 1 turn behind, and we don't have to worry about Mystic Sanctuary anymore. That's nice. Shamus. Yeah, staff is interesting over Stoneforge. Yeah, so the thing with Stoneforge is the things that disrupt Stoneforge also disrupt your main plan, mainly creature removal, right? If you are trying to have a plan B, then the plan B may be better by not overlapping very much with your main plan. That's what staff does. Staff laughs at single creature removal because what are you going to do? You're going to bolt or swords a 1/1? Not at its best. So, I don't know. Maybe... Obviously, the 2 different ways to build the deck are not wrong or correct. They're just different ways. I do think that the Baleful Strix build, that's just more heavily Esper, is not the greatest. But that's neither here nor there. The Stoneforge Mystic or the Staff builds are certainly 2 different ways to build the deck. I like the Staff build at the moment. Right now it feels like a good idea. Our opponent is hitting a lot of land drops. I'm going to call their bluff. Probably a lightning bolt here, but if they want to trade, I will. Okay, cool. Eating a lightning bolt, gaining 3 life, or getting a card out of their hand that would interact with my combo seems like a great idea. Do I know Bryant in real life? I've never met him in person, but yeah, we chat all the time. He's a good friend of mine. A lot of online friends, right? When you play Magic, it's kind of a function of playing online in Discord communities or whatever it might be. Although Bryant might not call me a friend. I give him too much shit for that. We kid each other a lot. We give each other a lot of crap. Yeah, Batterskull is also not a bad option here, because if you're wanting to grind, then the opportunity to rebuy Batterskull is not bad. Oh yes, my language does need to be adjusted accordingly, thanks to YouTube's new regulations on that front. I'm gonna make another construct. I've got a lot of lands here. Oh, my opponent is done. Not really sure why that was happening, but they're done playing. I will take it, I guess. No, yeah, the demonetization because of that is a real thing, so I do need to watch it. But yeah, 3-1, I suppose. I felt pretty confident in this. Like I was going to get a Shuko, my construct was going to be a 3-1 or a 3-2. And then I could play a land and ponder and then just kind of get things rolling. Our opponent has 8 cards in their graveyard and is a card type away from Delirium, 2 card types away from Delirium. I felt pretty confident. They have 2 cards in their hand, but I don't know. I'll take it. 2-0 Delver. Swift Warkite. What was that? That loss was... Oh, yeah, that was the silly, like, Palantir of Orthanc deck. Yeah, that's right. So while we are queuing up for the last match, we have a positive record on the line, or we've already had a positive record secured. We've got the 4-1 on the line. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a cool way that you could support the channel if you're still watching, which Bryant is about to tell you. You can support this by liking the video, commenting on the actual YouTube video after the stream ends, and following us and supporting us by becoming a YouTube member. All kinds of really awesome things that you can do. Let me tell you about it.
You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us.
Okay, very quick. Nice and easy. We are waiting for our last opponent, 4-1 on the line. Really excited. We've had some pretty good results recently. I don't know. Keep trying. The only way to improve is to practice. Yeah. So I hope that you guys like the green screen. I know that like I've got some fuzziness around some of the edges here, like on the hairline that's really dark. My hair is not that dark. I've had to adjust some color contrast things for the green screen behind me. I look pale as all get out. That's real though. I am actually pale. But let me know. Hey, Dominic, hey, welcome. Yeah, you are here for the 4-1 attempt. So we're playing some Cephalid Breakfast, Staff of the Storyteller build, as opposed to anything else. Really, really slick combo deck. And it won SCG Baltimore in the hands of Brian Coval last Saturday. And actually, he was handed the list by Alex McKinley of the Epic Storm fame, a friend of mine, another fellow writer. And we are paired up for round number 5 against Artisan, who is a well-known Painter player or Doomsday player. Yeah, one of the two. I think it's Doomsday, actually. This is not bad. If I keep this, I can bottom... Oh, wait, no. This is a 7. I don't need to bottom anything. Okay. The staff is, like, not at its greatest right now, but the Orim's... I think that they're a Doomsday player. I'm going to keep this on the back of Brainstorm. One of the more powerful cards in Legacy. Let's give it a chance to shine, shall we? I also can just, Google my opponent. Doomsday and Painter. Hey, it's both. I was not wrong. Nothing I said was 100% correct. They're just both. I also played some elves, and they've mulliganed to 5. Okay. I'm okay with that. We are going to tip our hand that we are not playing the Epic Storm with a Flooded Strand. A little bit different. I've played against Artisan a handful of times, and they do know that I'm playing the Epic Storm 90% of the time that I'm online. Ooh, the Flooded Strand mirror. Their Flooded Strand is cooler than my Flooded Strand. Yeah, all of their lands are cooler than mine. Their Ponders, you know, if you want to old border everything, that's fine. I like the original printings, so I play the Lorwyn Ponders typically. I do own the Dan Scott Ponders that are retro, just in case. But, you know, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I am going to brainstorm here. I'm going to get the Tundra, and I'm going to brainstorm. Okay, so I can put back Dread Return. Don't want to draw that one again. I can draw the Thassa's Oracle. And then I've got Narcomoeba as my pitch card to Force of Will. And then Ponder can shuffle away the Dread Return next turn. And I can still have the Thassa's Oracle in my hand, which is, yeah, it's fine. First and last. I'm glad you like that. Now, obviously, the one thing that I don't have the original printings for. Okay, so this can take the Force of Will, and they can start comboing. Okay, it's concerning. The only thing that I don't have original printings in paper are obviously the dual lands. I have revised for now, and then I will get FBBs eventually. I have an FBB Badlands, and I'll get, you know, the rest of the Epic Storms dual land mana base at some point. Personal tutor, this is Doomsday. Not that we weren't kind of assuming that anyway. I think even though I have Orim's Chant in my hand, I am going to ponder here. I have the Dread Return on top, which I don't care about. I am going to shuffle this. Narcomoeba. Yikes. Okay. This might... I think that I needed to ponder there. I think that that was necessary. I needed to find another land. I needed to just change the context of my hand. But it has given my opponent an opportunity to Doomsday, and if they have a Brainstorm or a Cycler or something like that, they also can crack their Doomsday pile and win immediately. A Cycler plus, you know, another like a Lion's Eye Diamond in their hand or something like that. Okay, so they have shown me their pile. I'm assuming that they're going to win this turn. Oh, they're not winning this turn. Spicy. So they have seen my hand, and they are playing around Orim's Chant, which means they have both Thassa's Oracles in there, so that one Thassa's Oracle can be stopped by the Orim's Chant or something like that, or they can just... That doesn't work that way. Never mind. I'm spouting nonsense, and I have to figure out how best to deploy this Orim's Chant, which is going to be tricky. I don't think that it's in the upkeep. It might be in response to Brainstorm. Okay, so they can... If they have a Thassa's Oracle in their hand already, then that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, I am going to chant them now. I have to chant them now because they could draw the Oracle, and I have no way to interact with it after this point, because they have 2 cards in their library, and the Oracle would be lethal. So, unfortunately, they also will probably have a land and... way to deploy the Thassa's Oracle anyway, and just didn't draw another land. There's the Cavern. So even if I did draw a force, it wasn't going to work. So, yep, our opponent is a skilled Doomsday pilot. Unfortunately, we were not the more skilled Thassa's Oracle combo deck player. So against Doomsday, we're going to get Force of Negations, and Flusterstorm, and a Surgical Extraction, 2 Swords to Plowshares. This is, as soon as I saw this, this is for the sideboard juke into Shieldred the Apocalypse. And then we can get rid of the Staff of the Storyteller. That seems like a bad card. Same with Retrofitter Foundry and a Plains. Oh, you know what? At the very bottom of this sideboard guide, it says plows are for Shieldred Voidwalker that they have post-board. Period. Respect it. Period. Makes sense to me. Voidwalker is a tough cookie to crack, and the Shieldred is just a straight-up house. So, yeah, that all makes sense to me. I'm going to respect the heck out of it. You like that, Bryant? Heck. I would like to play first. And this is pretty decent. I'm going to ponder off of a white source on turn 1. So I'm going to go get a Tundra. This doesn't have interaction on the first turn, but that's just fine. Our opponent has mulliganed to 5, which is what they did in game 1, and it worked out just fine for them. First and last, Doomsday generally good or bad matchup for breakfast? I think that it's going to be a tough matchup for breakfast. Doomsday is excellent at disrupting other combo decks. Breakfast is too, but our sideboard juke is Urza's Saga, or not sideboard juke, but plan B is Urza's Saga, and Urza Saga isn't going to do as much against Doomsday as Shieldred or Voidwalker are going to do against us. So I'm going to guess Doomsday is a tough one. I'm going to shuffle. Again, a sign of weakness, but I'm not gonna draw so many lands. They could have discard, which is something that we don't have. Yeah, see, this is another thing about Doomsday. They have 3 to 6 discard spells, and they have a quick and efficient combo that actually takes up less space in the deck than the breakfast combo does. I think it takes up less space. They're a 1-card combo. We're an A plus B combo, 2 cards. I don't know. So they discarded Brainstorm, and they've got turn 1 with Thoughtseize Protection. And Leyline. So they opened up turn 1 Doomsday with Thoughtseize and Leyline. They are hellbent. Their hand was perfect. I am so impressed. I'm not even mad. That was just incredible. I'm gonna let my opponent know that it was so impressive. I should maybe just mulligan more aggressively. I thought that my hand was okay. But maybe I do need to mulligan to something with more interaction or a quicker clock or something like that. But I don't think that I was going to be beating this hand regardless of what I kept. So that's just how it goes. They did mulligan quite aggressively. Like, they mulliganed to 5. And it might be that they were just chasing Leyline. It might be that they were chasing a quick hand, and their hand just also happened to include Leyline, but I'm not sure. We'll see. So we have interaction. Ooh. Oh, yes. Okay. That was potentially fantastic. So it's not Force of Will. And I still need to figure out how best to play around with this Orim's Chant. But that was pretty good so far. Brainstorm. I am going to brainstorm here. We can find force. We can. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'll put back Thassa's Oracle and another land. It's gonna be. It's still gonna be pretty tough to beat. Cavern of Souls. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do that. Let's see. So I think I need to chant them in their upkeep. Yes, I definitely need to chant them in their upkeep. And part of me is actually really regretting this Cephalid Illusionist not being that basic island that we had, because I could have found the ability to Mystic Sanctuary, and oh man, yeah, okay. If this was a basic island, what I could have done was okay, so let me talk. Never mind. We got it. Cool. Oh no, this is never mind. That's silly. Leyline is turning my graveyard off. That's just not gonna work the way that I want it to anyway. So we are going to try to draw the other Orim's Chant. That's not going to do it. So our opponent is going to be able to win this game. Because they had the ley line. I'm gonna message my opponent couldn't mystic it with the ley line either. They were messaging me. They were like, "Oh yeah, do you have the other chant?" Nope, I do not. That's okay. Our opponent was a skilled magician, and we were not able to beat the ley line of the void somehow. Not comboing, but with the Mystic Sanctuary. That's kind of tough. We had to draw we had a couple of different outs to draw the other Orim's Chant and ended up not having it. They're very nice people. Okay, so we had a positive record, 3-2, got the Doomsday, Dream Killer, Dream Crusher at the very end. That's totally fine. Our opponent is a lovely person. I'm happy for him. And we had some outs. The ley line kind of crushed some of those options, and then we didn't draw the one of the other Orim's Chant to play around that Cavern of Souls. There we go. I don't know why Cavern of Souls is such a tough card for me to remember how to say. I don't know. We're going to open up our treasure chest. Open up the one that we've got. And, oh, that's just insulting. That's so rude. Why would you give me this card? I hope it's worth something so I could sell it. And then Moonlace. Target spell or permanent becomes colorless. Okay. Fantastic. Oh, come on. Come on. You gonna give me a collector oof at the end of all of this? I'm happy with it. I'll take it. You know what? It's fine. It's one less collector oof out in the world that I have to worry about. But anyway, let's do a little bit of a deck debrief. This was Cephalid Breakfast Legacy combo deck with Thassa's Oracle Dread Return. Fantastic. You know it, you love it. You just saw 5 rounds of it. So I liked the staff. Staff was boarded out a couple of times, right? Our combo matchup, staff is not very good. However, this is such a nice grind fest card. This Urza Saga is triggering the staff triggering staff again, being able to just, being able to draw over and over and over again, and just accumulate advantage turn after turn, hand over fist. The 2 avenues that this deck plays in are either combo, and that's my focus, or I'm going to outfare the fair decks, and once they've exhausted their resources dealing with my Saga tokens, dealing with my Staff of the Storyteller advantages, dealing with Teferi, once their hand is empty or their removal interaction is depleted, then I'm going to be able to combo them, and they're not going to have to do it, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. So those are the 2 avenues that this deck operates under. Staff works extremely well in that second avenue, that second lane, where the goal is to play this awesome mid-range kind of fair blue deck that at the end of all of it, turn 7, turn 8, turn 10, that you can just put the pedal to the metal and win all in one turn. That's something that things like Jeskai Control don't actually do. Really, really fun deck. I like Serenity. Serenity felt awesome. The swords and the prismatic endings are just like this white card package in the sideboard. Really well thought out. I don't think that the surgicals came up at all. Maybe they should be fairy macabres. Maybe we should be planning for the mirror a little bit more, or this actually works out quite nicely against Reanimator too. Exhume, for example. If there are a couple of creatures in the yard, then we can eat them up. But the ability to play such a nice combo deck in the bones or the structure of just being a force of will deck, just like Doomsday does. We're a little bit fairer than Doomsday. We have got a fair plan B, whereas their plan B is, it's not as grindy, we'll say, right? Because their plan A is just so disgustingly good. But I really like this. I'm going to be playing more of this off stream. I know that Alex has been putting in a lot of time and effort into tweaking cards, along with a couple of other players that have gotten credit in other videos. But I got this, and I was talking to Alex about it, so I'll credit him. This is Brian Coval's winning SCG Baltimore list. Thank you all for hanging out this evening. I really appreciate it. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for interacting. You guys are the reason why I stream, and it's really, really nice to just get to hang out on Thursday. So I appreciate your time. I hope that you all have a good rest of your evening, and if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Yeah. It actually works. I check all of the comments. Brian and I respond to all of the comments. It's super awesome to hear from you guys. So I'll catch you next week. See you around.